So, Formula One, the Singapore Grand Prix 2025 qualifying as George Russell gets pole position. And I have to say, he deserves it. He deserves it. I mean, I, I was surprised how Mercedes were good in FP3 and hold the whole qualifying because if you look at the free practice one and free practice two, they were nowhere. George Russell crashing, and you think like, oh, here we go again. George Russell struggling in Singapore, crashing 2023 all over again. Here we go again. And you think like, yeah, it's gonna be difficult for Mercedes to compete with the big boys, with the top three, the usual top three. I mean, like the two McLarens and Verstappen. But they've shown really good pace in practice three, and they've shown very good pace in qualifying. First position in Q1, George Russell, if I'm not mistaken, he was also not far away from. No, he was also first position in Q2, first position in Q3. He dominated the whole qualifying. Um, Absolutely superb from him, and he deserved it. He's been very good. Um, he's performing, and also the two laps he put in Q3. The first lap was already enough for pole, but then the second lap he even improved. The first lap he was fantastic in that lap. The first lap, I think he had a bit of a kiss to the wall, as we like to say it in Formula One, and then the second one he even improved it, especially in the track like Singapore, and he didn't need to improve it because the first lap was enough. So that's how good he was. The whole qualifying, he was super fantastic and very good. And for sure, if anybody who got pole would have deserved pole in this whole qualifying session, would have been George Russell, and he for sure he got that. So fantastic performance for him, fantastic performance from Mercedes. Very good performance from Kenyatta above a McLaren and two Ferraris. Very good performance from him. He maybe could have got third position because he was I think 0.013 behind Oscar, so he could have got that third position. Could have been like at least the two McLarens. He's above a McLaren Lando Norris, but it could have been above two McLarens. But very good performance from him. But tomorrow, with the pace that he has tomorrow, Kimi Antonelli, I think he can do something. Verstappen second position. The pace of Red Bull has been very good. A positive weekend for them. Um, However, is two laps or one ish lap in Singapore in this qualifying Q3 was not enough. First lap was not enough. He was fast in sector 2, sector 3, but sector 1 not so much. And then the second lap he was a tenth down on George. If you look at the statistics, the numbers, but at the same time he aborted his lap because he got, let's say, affected by the dirty air of Lando Norris, and that's why he had to abort his lap, and he was like, yeah, like doing that, like gesture in a sarcastic way to him, and GP in the radio saying to him, "Oh, you can thank your mate for that," and it got a bit spicy after that. He's saying that Max, when Max was, when I think David Coulthard told about him the qualifying, and he said, "Well, that's I finished second, and that's what happens when there's a car in front of you." And then Coulthard said, "Who's that?" And then because we didn't see it on the screen, and Max Verstappen said, "Not Oscar." Like Verstappen is very open. He's very open, to the media. He's very open, no? Um, but yeah, and then Norris responded, and he said that the Red Bull always complain, they always moan. That's Red Bull racing. I mean, I mean, I love that spiciness. Honestly, I love that spiciness. I love it. I can't stand Red Bull are complaining. I understand Lando's point that Red Bull always complain, but I also understand why Verstappen is a bit frustrated because yes, even if even the dirty air affecting from Lando Norris on Max's lap uh, didn't happen. If the dirty air impeding, let's say, is not really impeding, but it it was a dirty air affecting, let's say, the lap of Verstappen, it's not guaranteed that he would have got pole. It's not guaranteed because George Russell put off two fantastic laps. And Max said in the radio that it would be, even without the situation with Lando, it would be difficult to get that pole position. So I think that you have to give credit to Mercedes, you have to give credit to Russell, he was fantastic. Verstappen very very good, but just Mercedes were a little bit and Russell a little bit better, and also Verstappen before his situation happened with Lando, I think he had a bit of a lockup, so yeah, that's why maybe it cost him the chance for pole position, but he's starting on second position, so it's not like the end of the world. It only takes turn one lap, one moment, and then he could be first position straight away, and then straight away he could dominate the race. So I think mostly this race will be decided by in terms of overtakes, will be decided by the first lap, because after that there's not many turns in Singapore, especially with the dirty air, with the cars that we have right now. It's not easy to overtake. I think the turn one, lap one is the only chance. There's the only chance, in my opinion, realistically. Strategies can play a part, because you can start with the mediums, you can start with the hards, you can start with the softs. So that could be very, very interesting. We'll see how teams like Red Bull and Mercedes and McLaren approach it. The top teams, especially, will try to win the race, and two drivers who try to get the best points as they can for the championship, or three drivers, I should say, because of Verstappen, obviously. So yeah, let's see what happens. It's gonna be very, very interesting, very, very exciting, the race. And McLaren, they struggled. They struggled. Third position, fifth position for Piastri and Lando. Yeah, it seems like McLaren, the pace has struggled. FP2, FP1 they look good. FP2 they look very good, but then in FP3, not so much. The FP3 in quali, the pace have kind of fell off a little bit, and now they are on the back foot. So yes, it could be a difficult race for the two McLarens, but I think it will be I think it's let's say it's a kind of a damage limitation for Oscar, because yes, he's third position, but at least he's ahead of his championship rival, main championship rival, which is Lando Norris. And Lando Norris had a very difficult qualifying session. From what I heard, he has a bit of a illness. So God bless him for that. But still, like, I've seen Lando Norris fans make excuses for that. But like, I mean, I remember George Russell in Baku. He had stomach problems, or he was sick. And then he still did his job and finished second. So it's not really an excuse, is it? And yes, in a demanding circuit like Singapore, in terms of temperature and humidity, the pain you have to go through. But Baku is not an easy track as well, so yeah. But at the same, but I'm not having that excuse. Lando should have done better, at least maybe be at least above Antonelli, or let's say be above Piastri. If the car's not fast, be at least ahead of your teammate. But Lando didn't do that, of course, in this qualifying session. And yeah, damage limitation. But the race is tomorrow. The points are scored in the race, so you cannot. It's qualifying. It's qualifying. Points are scored on a Sunday. So yeah. And I'm sorry, by the way, George Russell was only first in Q2, Q3, not Q1, because Lewis Hamilton was first in Q1. Sorry. So yeah, but Piastri ahead of Lando. That's a good news for Piastri, because even despite McLaren and him have not had an easy qualifying. So Ferrari, I expected more from them, especially they showed very good pace in Q1 and to some extent Q2, but they all find a way to shoot themselves in the foot. And Haja, very, very good. Another impressive performance. 8th position, 9th position for Behrman. Very, very good. 10th position, Fernando Alonso. Yuki Tsunoda out in Q2 once again. And yeah, however, there's a bit news came out that Alex Albon and Carlos Sainz, the Williams team, have been disqualified from the qualifying for rear wing technical infringements. I think I remember a similar thing happened to that was Mercedes in Brazil 2021, if you remember, when obviously Mercedes brought that ridiculous, amazing engine upgrade. Hamilton got pole in Brazil in qualifying, but then he was disqualified and had to start back on the grid from the sprint, and he came back, finished fifth, but he had to take another 5 place grid penalty due to an engine penalty, and then he started 10th, and he ended up winning the race and coming back. So. But yeah, like Williams have been were poor in this qualifying. I expect more from them, by the way. And obviously, this qualification for both drivers adds sort of the wound to the wound for them, and they're gonna start from the pit lane. But I expect more for Williams. They look very good. They look very good in all practices, and they absolutely fell off in the qualifying. So yeah, not good at all for Williams. Not good enough. Um, Especially also they look very good at Baku, where they had a podium in Baku Sainz. So my predictions for the race. Also want to say is that George Russell in the radio, I mean, the guy's been performing very, very, very well. He's been very, very consistent this season. He's been performing, like picking up points, picking up podiums when he's not been expected. Um, and he's delivering from where the car is. Like Mercedes, like belong to being third position, fourth position, fifth position. He gets you into that position, So, and he's very good in kind of strategy things, as he showed in Baku. So, and especially in the radio when he got that pole position, it seemed like he was not jumping up over the moon in the radio. And he was saying because he doesn't want to get carried away because it's Singapore and he's had bad memories of it in the past. And I understand why. Because obviously a track like Singapore has not been kind to him. I mean, it's so strange. The top two are in front. No, for the grid, are the two same guys who Singapore have not been a friend to them. Russell and Verstappen. Very strange. But anyway. But I understand why. But I also feel like maybe it's because of the contract situation. It's taken a toll out of him, you could say. I mean, when will Toto Wolff ever give him a contract? Verstappen is gonna stay for next year. When you will ever give him the contract? Yes, I know. Maybe you don't want to give him long-term contract, but when he's performing like that, he deserves it. Like, come on, be fair, man. But anyway, my predictions for the race is gonna be very, very exciting. I think strategies can play a part. Teams could start with the soft, with the medium, with the hard. They could go for a two-stop. It's gonna be safety cars. It's gonna be a very, very interesting race. Very interesting. Looking forward to it. My predictions. I'm looking forward to see how it's gonna happen between turn one, between obviously Russell and Verstappen. But my race predictions. First position, I'm going for. I think George Russell will win. First position, George Russell. Second position, Max Verstappen. And third position, third position, I'm going for Kimi Antonelli. I think Kimi Antonelli will get past Oscar, especially with the pace that Mercedes have. I think Russell first, Verstappen second, and third, Kimi Antonelli. That's my podium prediction. So that's it, guys. Thank you. I wish you have a nice day. See you next time, and goodbye.